Welcome to Execunet TV. I'm Robin Greenspan, Editor-in-Chief of Execunet, and I'm here with Lauren Franzoni, Execunet's Executive Director. Welcome, Lauren.
It's great to be here, Robin.
Thank you. So what would you say are the three most important things you would need to do when you're in career transition?
Well, first of all, it's to figure out what are you transitioning to. Don't let the marketplace determine it for you. You really do have to think about, and I know this sounds like a cliche and I almost hate to say it, but you have to think of yourself as a product going to market. You need to understand what your value is and what your value proposition is. And that value proposition is two things. What do you do well? And also, what do you like to do well? Because many executives can do many things, but this is a great time to hone that list and say, not only do I do these things well, but of these things I do well and the value I provide, this is what I really love to do, where my passion is. Take that shorter list of characteristics and then begin to imagine, what is that ideal day for you? Take that set of determinations and then go to market with it and start researching what are the organizations or situations in which you can do those things you do well and love doing in the way you want to do them. And as you start to identify that's your target market, then it makes it much more straightforward to be able to network in, to meet the right people, to make all those contacts, to work contact to contact. But it's not about looking out there and letting the market decide, here's what is out there, how do I fit into that? How am I the square peg fitting into that round hole? It's much more important to say, this is the value I bring. Now, where is that going to be beneficial? And when you're known for that value that you bring and you're networking and people begin to hear that and share that information, you're going to be remembered and referred, which is the only way to get ahead in a marketplace like this.
So what are the tools executives need to market themselves today?
Well, now tools are different. Obviously, once you have the program, then you have to say, well, what kind of channels? Where am I going to be and who am I going to be communicating with? You have to have an online presence. Today, companies, recruiters, potential contacts, when they see your name, they're going to Google you. And you need to have something come up. Ideally, you're going to have a public profile, and then you're going to have chosen some organizations, and this is certainly what our executives do here at Execunet, which is to choose an organization of their peers and complete profiles and participate in ways that they become known so that your work is known. It's always helpful to add a PowerPoint presentation, a speech, a news clipping, an article, something, that perhaps, things that are about you and the work that you've done along the way. So that's first and foremost, is to have that online presence and be sure you know what it is. Be sure you've Googled yourself and be sure you know who else might come up. If you have a common name, you may need to create some distinguishing factors. Then the next thing is really, you've got to have a resume that sells that value forward. I'd say that as we look at the resumes of the executives we see, somewhere around, I'd say well over 80% of the resumes we see are all about the past. And while your past is important experience, what's important in this document is where are you going in the future? And can a recruiter, can a hiring manager, can a contact quickly scan it? We also recommend that executives consider having separate documents that they can quickly email, something that just gives a real snapshot of who they are and what they're about, so it helps someone promote them forward. If I've just met you and you don't know a lot about me, I don't necessarily think it's the best idea to leave it to you to tell the next person about who I am. Something that's quick that you can always pass through in an email about yourself, either graphically or even just in text, is very helpful to that contact to being able to fulfill whatever it is they've promised you to do. And the third, I think, is that really positive attitude. Networking doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be a chore. it can actually be a really exciting time. People love to talk about themselves, and the more you can meet people, talk to them about themselves, and learn about opportunities, the more you can broaden your horizons, and the more you can see a lot of opportunities develop from that. So I would say that it's, having an online presence. It's definitely having the types of communications materials that any great product should have, including you. And thirdly, it's having that wide network, and that network has to quickly be not the people you know, but the people they know and the people you all have yet to meet, and then putting that positive attitude behind it.
Thank you, Lauren. This has been really helpful, and I know that many of the people who watch this are really going to benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Well, they're always welcome to call, and we're happy to help them think through whatever issues they're facing at the time.
Thank you again.